6 days away, Bills Mafia, from training camp, which I like to officially call the start of the NFL season. So before we get started on today's episode, if you haven't already, we are 35 subscribers away from our first major milestone here on the channel, which is 5,000 subscribers. So it's completely free. It'll always be free, and you'll get daily Bills content on your YouTube timeline. So let's talk about what today's episode entails. 3 must-have Bills breakouts. 3 players that I've identified as guys that must take the next step if the Bills want to win a Super Bowl. They're right on the cusp, and these 3 players can help propel them into that next stratosphere. So let's talk about numero uno. That was like a really bad version of Spanglish right there. Keon Coleman, wide receiver, second-year wide receiver, that is. And I'm not going to front with you. When Keon Coleman was drafted, I had incredibly high hopes for him. I thought he was going to be one of the best rookie wide receivers out of that draft class last year, and I was sadly mistaken. USA Today perfectly encapsulated what I feel like a lot of Bills fans thought, and that was the Bills' top pick at the 2024 NFL Draft in Coleman had 29 catches for 556 yards and 4 touchdowns in 13 games as a rookie. The touchdowns, very promising, but a lot more is needed. Coleman was hampered by a hand injury after a solid start to his NFL career, but after Buffalo decided to not add a big-name wide receiver this offseason, there's obviously pressure on Coleman to improve. So let's talk about those statistics, shall we? I'm not going to lie, not great. Decent. The receptions needs to go way up. Touchdowns is fine. Yards needs to go up as well. And as the article previously mentioned, with the way the Bills' wide receiver room is currently constructed, I got to agree with them. There's not a huge name on this list. If Khalil Shakir is your wide receiver 1 and is getting paid the most money out of all of your wide receivers, you clearly are going wide receiver by committee. But that is within the hopes that Keon Coleman can emerge as, hopefully, and kind of bluntly, a wide receiver 2, and hopefully taking that next step towards a wide receiver 1. Now, he has drawn comparisons, a lot of people have said, to DK Metcalf with his size, but I don't think that's the right comparison. I think he plays more like Michael Pittman Jr. And the reason I say that is DK Metcalf is one of the biggest, most athletic freaks we've seen in recent years. And Keon Coleman is a hell of a lot slower than DK Metcalf. But Michael Pittman plays a lot more fluidly. Big body, kind of slender, not as strong as a guy like DK Metcalf, but can find space in the open field. And the problem with Pittman's career is they've had dog water quarterbacks for their entirety of his career in Indianapolis. I mean, you've had Carson Wentz, Anthony Richardson was a bust, Matt Ryan was at the tail end of his career. So Michael Pittman Jr. is just starving for an NFL quarterback. I completely digress. My main question is, will Keon Coleman have a breakout season in 2025? Yes or no? I think he will, but if you're thinking that he's going to be like a Malik Nabers or even a Marvin Harrison Jr. was last year, I think you're mistaken. Somewhere in the realm of 50 receptions for 700 yards, 6 touchdowns would be the step in the right direction for a guy with Keon Coleman's playmaking ability. He's a deep threat. Utilize him as a deep threat, but also recognize that he's going to have to get much better as a route runner and maybe lose a little bit of weight if he wants to put on a little bit more speed. Let's go to the other side of the ball, Cole Bishop. And on this list, Cole Bishop is one of those players where I don't want to say he has bust potential because he was a rookie last season, but I also need to see a hell of a lot more than I saw last year because, frankly, with how mediocre the Bills' safety room was, Bishop didn't do himself any favors at all. Only started in 4 games last year. USA Today said this about Cole. Bishop was Buffalo's next selection at the 2024 draft behind Coleman, but only made 4 starts despite a less than inspiring safety depth chart. Damar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp earned way more playing time than him during his rookie season. Bishop needs to take the late season experience he found as a rookie and turn it into extended playing time in 2025. After a spell of Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, Bishop could be the first cornerstone safety piece for the Bills since that duo if he breaks out. Big if, because last year there was no if. It was good Lord, keep this guy off the field. Now, I'll give him credit. He was a rookie adapting to the speed and athleticism of the NFL. And truthfully, as a safety prospect, Cole Bishop plays one style of football, heavy on aggression. In fact, what are the pros and cons from what we saw last year and from his draft stock coming out as a rookie? Well, he's got great fluidity in coverage, meaning he's got control of his body. He's got a high motor skill and a high motor player with great stamina. He's always on 120%, which you love to see. And he's a playmaker to his core. He's going to lower his shoulder, try to find the ball, locate the point of attack, jump routes to the best of his ability. But with that being said, the cons have certainly outweighed the pros. He vacates coverage zones way too quickly to go find the football. Sometimes you've just got to sit back as a safety and let the entire play develop in front of you. Like a center fielder in baseball. His coverage skills need a lot of work. He's a very raw, finesse skill player. He's got a lot of aggression. He's got a lot of anger, and that's really, really good to see. But you can't play like that all the time. Not only are you going to lose in terms of coverage, but that leads to injuries as well. And it also shows that he's got a lack of patience to let a play develop. It's kind of that young, over-aggressive, over-eager style of play that you would expect from a young player of his caliber. But as I mentioned before, the Bills' safety room isn't good. Well, that's a little harsh. That's a little harsh. It's not great. Very mediocre. Middle of the pack. I don't think anybody would write home about how amazing this Bills safety depth chart is, which gives Bishop the opportunity to really take the next step, but you've got to anticipate and play better in coverage. Your coverage grade was dog water, my friend. Now, he had an unbelievable pass rushing grade according to PFF, but the coverage grade needs and is a lot to be desired, needs a lot of work. So as a former second-round draft pick, Bishop really needs to prove this season that he's worthy of a starting role. I'm not even asking you to take a step and become one of the top 10 safeties in the league. Just show that you're a capable starter, and then we can talk about, maybe the next great Buffalo Bills safety duo. Because right now, there isn't a single guy on that list that I believe is a cornerstone of the defensive backfield. Bishop has the opportunity to do so, but we'll see what happens. All right, moving on to our last one. Dalton Kincaid. And you're probably wondering to yourself, why is Dalton Kincaid on this list? Didn't he have an unbelievable 2023 season before, losing time to injury last season and having a kind of a regression year? And the answer to that is yes. But when it comes to where he was taken, which was late in the first round, Kincaid has not shown that he is a star yet in the NFL. USA Today had this to say. Kincaid has a chance to earn plenty of targets from quarterback Josh Allen next season. Buffalo's top pick at the 2023 draft, Kincaid has moments and showed moments in 2024 and in 2023, but some would expect more considering his draft status. He only had 44 catches, 40, that's a typo right there, it's not 44 yards, and 2 touchdowns last season in 13 games played. That's my fault. But let's take a look at the actual statistics that he had. There it is, that's the right one. Sorry, that's Moose's bad. 75 targets, 44 receptions, 448 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He had a decent PFF grade, which was kind of among some pretty good company, if you ask me. All of these players right here are really good tight ends. Travis Kelce had a little bit of a down year. That's why he's down at number 13. But Mike Gesicki has always been a really solid starting tight end. Same with Evan Ingram and Dallas Goedert. So what does this all mean for Dalton Kincaid? Well, staying healthy is your first priority. Your second priority is really taking the leap, right? Finding your space over the middle of the field. What is a tight end? A best friend to a quarterback. The ultimate safety blanket, the ultimate over the middle of the field weapon. Someone that can get chunk yardage plays, is not going to do anything over the top, but can continually sustain drives throughout the entirety of the season. Josh Allen has shown that not only is he one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but he's one of the best all time. And if he can't make Dalton Kincaid work in year 3, then the truth is nobody can. Now, Josh does end up running a little bit more than he should, so maybe there is a slight element of he's not a traditional pocket passing quarterback, but I would take Josh Allen's play style and his productivity over almost everybody in the NFL not named Lamar Jackson. I mean, out of Lamar's productivity and Mahomes' ability to win the Super Bowl, Josh Allen is right in between those two guys. If Josh wins a Super Bowl, he's already solidified himself as a Hall of Famer. In fact, I think he's kind of already there. I'm kind of digressing. Let's get back to Kincaid. This is the year to show what you're made of, to prove your draft stock worth. 700 yards is my baseline for him. So let me ask you, over or under Dalton Kincaid for 700 yards? I'd like to think he can do it. If he's healthy for all 17 games, it shouldn't be an issue. But obviously, if you disagree, let me know in the comment section down below and tell me why. Defend your answer. That is going to do it. Remember, 35 subscribers away, my friends. That's all we need. 34 now. Bang. Producer Chugs with the live sub counter update. All you have to do is click that sub button. It's completely free before we start the 2025 season. We have to be at 5,000 subscribers, guys. My name is Moose. Until next time, be cool.